Hello everybody, this is the first video of month 3 for our monthly philosophy group, Luca Fits. That stands for Let Us Create a Foundation for It to Stand. I've got my co-host here again, Una Maria. She wants mommy apparently, but I think goldfish will have to suffice for now. So, after a week or so of deliberation amongst the group, I think we've decided that we're going to hold off on doing the discussion on philosophy of music for a later time, just so that way everybody can kind of get a better foundation in philosophy and music if they get the opportunity, and then also so I get a little bit more practice leading our group discussions. This month, we've decided to do Hobbes' Leviathan, chapters 13, 14, and 15. It's not too long a section, so I think everybody should be able to do the homework if they want to. I'm going to try to address this as best I can in the videos, so if people don't want to do the homework, they can just watch a couple 15-minute videos and get it out of the way. I lost my copy, my hard copy of the Leviathan sometime over the course of the last few years. My guess is it's in storage somewhere, but since I'm not moving until the middle of next month, I'm going to just go ahead and buy a new copy. I think they're like $6 on the internet, so that's no problem. But I'm kind of doing this from memory, and it's just going to be a quick conspiracy theory like the first video of last month, and we'll address it in more detail in the upcoming weeks. So, I'm winging it this time. I have no script, I have no preparation, I'm just going to go out there and start talking, and we're going to see how it goes. But Hobbes, in his Leviathan, he basically outlines social contract theory, which is a very popular modern and postmodern endeavor in philosophy. At the start of chapter 13, Hobbes outlines the state of nature. The first 12 chapters of the book are basically outlining the nature of man, but really all it comes down to is mankind in a state of nature with no rules or laws or any sort of artificial constructs constraining him has one inalienable right, which is the right to do whatever is necessary to preserve their livelihood and their well-being. He kind of frames it in the idea of an attempt to achieve peace, but when he says peace, he really kind of means the Greek self-sufficiency, not so much peace like the peace on earth and Zen meditation kind of peace. When he outlines the state of nature for man, he basically says if there's a situation where there's limited resources and we both want a resource for a specific means, for instance, I find a berry patch. And I haven't eaten in a week because I can't just go to the grocery store because there are no grocery stores. But after I find this berry patch and eat off of it for about a week, I start running out of berries. And somebody else finds my berry patch, and they start eating my berries. Well, we're going to run out of berries very soon, so I try to chase him away from my berry patch. Well, then he goes and finds a pointy stick and comes after me because he needs that food too. He hasn't eaten in weeks, and there's no grocery store for him to go to. So we end up fighting over the berries. It's a life or death situation, and eventually one of us dies and the other one gets to live for another week eating berries, which results in a lifestyle that is solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short. That's his famous quote, life is nasty, brutish, and short. Basically, in an endeavor to achieve peace and well-being and not getting stabbed in our sleep by people with pointy sticks over silly things like berry patches, we enter into a social contract where I turn to the guy next to me who has found the berry patch alongside me, and I say, hey, you know, there aren't very many berries to go around, so what if we make a deal that I only eat so many berries and you only eat so many berries, and we try to make this thing work out? And the guy says, okay, and then he stabs me in the back because there's no repercussion for him stabbing me in the back. So to prevent this, I go ahead and I find a third-party person, preferably somebody big and strong and with lots of pointy sticks that can enforce rules better. And I say, okay, here's the deal. We're going to agree not to eat too many berries, or the big scary man with the pointy stick is going to come and stab us in our sleep. And the guy says, okay, that sounds fair. So then we go about our business, upholding our contract to not eat too many berries. And that kind of extends beyond there to all the ramifications of the social life until you get what you see today, or what you see in Hobbes' time, or what you see all the way back to the dawn of civilization, where we have a whole set of rules and codes and everything that are enforced by a government or a king, in the case of the Leviathan, in which we give up our inalienable rights to stab people in the back in their sleep and steal their berries and that kind of thing. And that way, society can advance beyond a state that is solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short. I find a problem with this. So even if we outline all of his rules, first rule being you have to pursue peace for the sake of your well-being. Second rule being basically a branch of the first rule, which says do whatever you can to defend yourself. You have to try to preserve your own life, basically, I think. And then from there, you have a whole series of other rules. You have to show gratitude towards those who maintain the contract. You have to, I don't know what Rule 5 is. I don't have it here in my little notes. Here we go. You have to be accommodating to others for the purpose of protecting the contract, and not quarrel over minor issues lest the contract collapse. So you're not allowed to fight over stupid things. You're only allowed to fight over important things. We must pardon those who have committed offenses in the past, forgive and forget. Punishment should be used only to correct the offender and to protect the contract, not for gratuitous retribution. So no eye for an eye sort of transactions. If you do something wrong, you've got to, pay me back as much as necessary to teach you a lesson, but not necessarily, if you kill my dog, I get to kill your dog. If you cut out my eye, I get to cut out your eye, that kind of thing. People must avoid making signs of hatred or contempt towards others, so no hate speech. Pride should be avoided. If you're prideful, you think you're more important than everybody else, and then the contract falls apart. One should retain only those rights that one would recognize in others. So in other words, I can't think I'm able to do something that somebody else isn't. For instance, I'm allowed to go and give off my hate speech about other people because I'm superior to them, whereas they're not allowed to because they're inferior to me. Everybody has to follow the same set of rules. Everybody. All of this, if you notice, tends to follow a geometrical progression. I'm not going to go through all of the rules because it basically follows this geometrical progression. So if you think about the rules, you can find their logical conclusion, which eventually gets to the point of the king, where disputes must be settled by an arbitrator, which is that king that I was talking about before, the big scary man with lots of pointy sticks. No one with self-interest may be an arbitrator. If I become the king for the sake of my own well-being, then I'm not being a good king, I'm just being a prideful jerk who thinks I'm better than everybody else. My problem, I said before that I have a problem with this. The problem I have is that if everything is built out of a foundation, if our entire social contract is built out of a foundation of a lifestyle that results in a lifetime that is solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short, then necessarily the contract that rises out of that must also, on its fundamental level, be solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short, which would mean that this is all kind of a nihilistic attempt at chasing away absurdity with rational discourse. So that's my issue. I really hope that somebody watches this video and responds appropriately so that we can have discourse on this. I didn't really make an argument, I just presented my idea, so that way we can discuss the idea and develop an argument further. So that's my video for this week. Feel free to visit our Facebook group, Hobbes Fits. I'm going to change the name from Lorem Fundamentum Nobis Stare to just straight Hobbes Fits. So if you can't find it, that's why. Yeah. Comments, responses, especially response videos, and I'm looking forward to making a video for you guys next week. Goldfish. So I already ate it. That's all good. Nom nom nom.